Bow, PoBBs here once again, and today got a wonderful Spectral Wolves cast on critical strike and trigger on block summon raging spirits build for you. Wow, that was a mouthful. This character in particular took many twists and turns to get to where it is today, but the inspiration came from a build I made back in 3.21 Crucible League, where I made a Reeve cast on critical strike minion necromancer. The centerpiece of this build is the legendary Claw, forever known as Law of the Wilds, which enables the summoning of spectral wolves. More precisely, it has a 20% chance to summon the wolf foes on critical strike. So, needing to go for high crit chance in order to summon these little buggers made me think about what else I could do, and after some experimentation, Summon Raging Spirits seemed like the best single target supplemental increase in DPSage. In the beginning, I went for basically as much crit chance as possible. I think at one point I reached something like 90%, and I then realized even though I needed to summon them relatively frequently, since they won't be permanent because they have no life, the wolves that is, well, all the minions, it was an overkill on how frequently they were being summoned. So I started scaling my own crit chance back significantly, which enabled me to focus more on defenses and such. Speaking of defenses, I have bleed and poison immunity thanks to Watcher's Eye and Abyss Jewels, elemental ailment immunity thanks to Megalomaniac and Storm Shroud Jewels, 19,000 armor with my Granite Flask up, 5 endurance charges, additional physical damage reduction explicit, and Arctic Armor Aura. Lastly, and most importantly, 90% block and 88% spell block. With such high block chance, I decided to put Summon Raging Spirits of Enormity in my Svalinn shield for just a tiny bit of style points, but they do add just a tad of DPS, so overall it worked out. Because I have absolutely no minion life increase anywhere, it was very important for me to get Blessed Rebirth cluster notable, which makes recently summoned minions invulnerable. This is very important because these minions die to a small pebble in their eyes. Yeah, it starts raining, the minions go bye-bye. This is also why I don't have animated guardian or the regular specters, because they would die in 0.3 seconds in a tier 2 map. Therefore, if you plan on making this build, ensure you have at least one Blessed Rebirth somewhere on thy person. Really quickly, I'll show you some footage of the Pathfinder variant. Yes, wow, there's 3 versions of this. We got the one with the Squire shield necromancer, the second with the Svalinn shield for tier 17 maps and some very hard content, and number 3, we got the Pathfinder variant, which is much more squishier, built on the right side of the tree with some differences such as petrified blood. There's some neat things about this build that make it a little bit more unique than the necromancer, but I just couldn't figure out a good way to make it more tankier, hence why I decided to stick with the necromancer. One key note to pay attention to, however, which may seem trivial or downright wrong, is the spiritual command anointment amulet, or just grabbing it on the necromancer. The reason for this is it makes clearing packs of monsters so much smoother because of the Asenath's Gentle Gloves explosions. Yes, that's right. The explosion scales with increased generic damage, and my build happens to have, 431% total increased damage. Wow! So instead of 3% of enemy's life exploding, it's actually 13%, making those explosions worthwhile to invest in. Anyway, let's go over the gear and stuffs. For the longest time, I was playing with the Squire shield, and in tier 17s, it felt perfect, beautiful, awesome. In tier 17s, however, just a little too squishy. Maybe later on, I'll upload a video of that version in tier 17 and how it went. But as of now, I'm playing with the Svalinn shield. With that shield, Tempest Shield Spell, 4 passive clusters on the tree, and 10 tattoos enabled me to get near max block. Devouring Diadem auras, easy peasy, but you could play around with the Ancient Skull, Hail Negator, if you needed more Abyss Jewels or a few other helms, plethora to choose from. Amulet, crafted myself, a nice one. To me, minion movement speed is very important, but I still ended up using Convocation, so not super necessary. +1 endurance charge boots, nice. Darkness Enthroned with some nice jewels. Ensure your minions have 100% chance to poison. Very important. Asenath's Gentle Touch gloves. Self-crafted mediocre ring. Minion movement speed hype. This chest I bought as is for 100 chaos. Yeah, 6-link. Jeez. Don't buy it. But you can grab yourself a standard grasping mail such as this for a divine or two. Or less, probably. Once again, take some time to get yourself a nice, elegant hubris jewel. Mine has 2x minion damage, 80% chance to avoid shock for that Storm Shroud combo, and 2x critical strike chances. For a while I was even using the P charge on critical strike, but you can get that implicit on your claw if you need it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with another beautiful build.